Hi everyone, welcome back. So this is session number 2 of our invoice generation application. So in past session we learned how we can create invoice numbers automatically and how we can save the invoice data into a SharePoint list. So I can just revise it once more. So we created this invoice generation form where we have this button, which on click of this button this invoice number gets generated. So this is how these invoice numbers can incrementally get saved into SharePoint list. And once a person clicks on this data, then this generate invoice, then the data gets saved into SharePoint list. So I can show you that. So these are lists, the data gets saved over here. So now in this session, as we are done with the form, but when we say generate, it should create one PDF and send out email to our customer. So how to do that? For that we would be using one Power Automate. So I'll just go to the flow, and in my flow I'll be creating one flow automated from blank. So whenever one item is created in my this invoice list, then this flow should get triggered. So I'm just creating this one and invoice generate flow. So now we have the trigger. I just need to connect my SharePoint site and choose the right list, which is invoice list. Alright, so now in next step what I'll be doing is I would initialize one variable so that I can capture the data. And under this I'll just name that as object list, and I will make it of type object, and under the value I would be choosing value as body so that I can extract all the details from this body field. In the next step I'll be just composing using compose function. I'll be composing my HTML so that I can pass on the HTML to create one HTML file, which in turn we are going to convert that into PDF. So I'll be showing you what that HTML would look like. So now you can see, so this would be my HTML is having just some styling, and in the header I have written it's a performa invoice, and in the variable, so as I created that object list variable, and I'll be extracting out all the values from here. So by using this thing title, so this will give me the invoice number, and in the other TRTDs I can just use the other variables. So bill to address, item 1 name, item 2 name, total cost, and this purely HTML. So you can transform your HTML just to make including the logo or just to merge the columns. So based on your requirement you can build your layout. So for time being, because I'm just going to construct this simple table, so I'm copying this and going back to my flow, and under the expression I'm just pasting that out. So this is how I can construct my HTML. So in next step I would be creating one file, and this file I'm going to, let's say, store on OneDrive. You can do that in SharePoint as well. So now I'm choosing path, the folder path. I would be choosing just root one. Oops. I'm just selecting root. Alright, and in the file name I can specify my file name. So let's say I can say that is sales invoice HTML, and file content I'll be choosing the output which I got from my previous tab. So now this will create one HTML file under my OneDrive folder. And in the next step, I'll just simply do convert file preview. So this connector we are going to use, and under this, where I would like to choose file from, so I can just simply say I'll choose from my root, and under root you would find, if you have already have some file, you will find that. So for this thing I actually created this as a demo previously, so I can see this file is there. So you can simply type your own, I mean like slash sales invoice HTML, you can type that by your own, so that's not a problem. So now we have created this file, and I need to have the same file name, so I'll just correct it out, sales invoice HTML. Okay, so now this sales invoice HTML being created, I'm reading out the sales invoice HTML, and target type is PDF. So this will convert this file to PDF. So now once we got our PDF file, the next step would be we have to send out email to our customer that your invoice is generated. So I'll be using email, send email v2 from Outlook, and under this I'll specify, for the time being I'll just select my ID, and subject I can say invoice ready. You can have the invoice number as well. So from this thing you can pick the title, so which would be actually invoice, and under body you can simply say PHA, please find attached invoice, and show advanced, because we would like to attach this PDF as an attachment. So I can just have this file name selected from convert file action, and the content from file content. So I can just save it, and I'll just again use this PowerApp to create one new entry. So I'll just go to my PowerApps. First of all, I'll just publish this one so that I can run. So I'm just going to play it out. Alright, so I am just generating, first of all, this invoice number is blank, I am generating a new invoice number. Okay, I got it, and now I'll just add, let's say it's pencils, item is pencil, cost is possibly $1, and quantity is 1000. I'm just ordering stationery, and notebooks, cost is $2, and I'm ordering 500. So this is total cost, and this is billing to, let's say, some ABC company. And once I click on generate invoice, so it will save my data into SharePoint. So I got this data in SharePoint, and as well as my flow should run. So I just can check whether it ran or not. So it ran successfully, and ideally it should send out the email. So I just opened email. I got this latest one, and this is sales invoice. I'll just open it out, and now you can see it's billed to ABC company, item number this, and total cost. So it did not cover the total cost. That means we must have mapped it with the wrong column, but don't worry, we can just correct that out by putting the actual column value. So it's having special characters, that's why it's not extracting out that column value. So we can just simply change the column name, or can just fetch out the internal name of that column, and can update it. So in short, I mean, like, if we see it as an end-to-end application, this the invoice team who is responsible for generating invoices for customers, they can simply use this Power App to create one invoice, and after creating that invoice gets saved into SharePoint, and which in trigger creates one PDF and sends out email to the customers. So this is your PDF and this amount is payable to you. So this is how end-to-end application you can build out of it. So I hope this entire demo is useful for you to build out quick application using this the functions which I explained you. For example, in the batch, update if, the concatenation, right, left, trimming out the strings, and as well as how to use the preview file preview connector to convert the HTML file into PDFs. So I think that's it for this session. Thank you so much.